February 23rd, 2022, apparently a quiet night in Green Bay, Wisconsin, when Tara Therian lay on her bed until she heard an unsettling sound. A door slamming storm shut in the stillness of early morning. Something not familiar or out of place. She assumed it was her son, Shad's girlfriend, Taylor, coming or going. But something gnawed at her. A sense that something was wrong. She rose from bed and walked through the house, her heart beginning to race with each step. When she reached the basement, what she saw stopped her in her tracks. A bucket casually placed at the bottom of the stairs, covered with a beach towel. It shouldn't have been there. Her heartbeat quickened as she knelt to lift the towel. As she lifted the towel, curiosity quickly turned to shock as she saw Shad's severed head staring back at her with unblinking terror in his eyes. In that sudden moment, her world came crashing down. How had this happened? Who could commit such an atrocious act? This is the story of Shad Therian's brutal murder perpetrated by Taylor Schabusiness, his girlfriend. What unfolds is an incredible journey full of shocking revelations, disturbing details, and an obsession that defies explanation. Born in 1997 and living in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Shad Therian experienced many struggles throughout his 24-year life. Nonetheless, those close to him regarded him as a kind-hearted individual with a passion for woodworking and video gaming. Shad was employed by both his father and grandfather at their family business, while also spending much of his free time honing his skills as a woodworker, an area in which he excelled naturally. Shad struggled with his demons. Addiction had become part of his life and was an obstacle he struggled with. Drug use had become part of his routine as he searched for stability through drug use. Yet, no matter these difficulties, his friends and family never imagined his life would end so violently and senselessly. Tara saw Shad around 8:30 p.m. as Taylor Schabusiness visited their house. Though their relationship had always been complicated and often caused friction, little did Tara realize that this would be her final encounter with her son alive. At 3:25 a.m., Tara was startled awake by the sound of a door slamming shut at her house at around 3:25 a.m. It was disconcerting but not alarming. Tara presumed Taylor had come or gone as usual. However, something about their house seemed off. In particular, a basement light had been left illuminated out of place but not particularly alarming. Tara thought she knew what lay at the bottom of the stairs until she descended them and found an unsuspecting bucket with a towel draped over it. An innocent enough-looking object, but curiosity got the better of her, and upon lifting, the shock she witnessed was unthinkable. Inside was Shad's severed head, staring blankly out at Tara as if frozen in terror as his final moments unfolded before his eyes opened again in death's grip. It was so shocking and horrific that her only response could have been Tara screaming out loud enough. She called 911 immediately, and within minutes, police arrived at the scene.
County Public Safety, how may I help you?
Yes, I'd like an officer at 829 Stony Brook. My friend just woke me up and swears that she found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Okay, tell me what's happening there again?
I have no clue what's happening. My girl swears that she's found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Did you go down there?
In a bucket. I went down, I can't tell what the fuck is. Part of my language, I'm kind of a little freaked out.
Whose head is it?
She's claiming it's her son.
How old is her son?
24, 25.
Missing or?
No, yeah, he was here yesterday with some chick, and then all of a sudden nobody's here.
And, you said you went down there, correct?
Yeah, and I lifted his hole, but I can't see very well, and I can't tell what the hell it is.
So there's something in the bucket.
There's something in the goddamn bucket there.
You think she's hallucinating, or do you think that?
I don't think so. I went down and there's something in the damn bucket. I I don't know, man. She's a little freaked out and kind of freaking me out.
Hello?
Hi, Tara. So can you tell me what's going on?
Are you positive my son's head is in a bucket? I know I'm looking for my basement.
What makes you think that?
Because I looked in the bucket.
And what did you see?
Exactly what I told you.
Okay, where's the rest of the body at?
No idea.
Officers entered the Therian home to be met with something straight out of a horror flick. Shad's decapitated head was just part of it. There were also 2 knives and what appeared to be a part of an organ in his bucket. Shock seized them all as investigators quickly started scouring through every inch of that house for evidence of anything amiss. The basement, where Shad's bedroom was located, was covered in blood. His mattress had been left sodden with gore. Walls, floor, and even the nearby shower dripped with it. It was obvious that Shad had been killed violently and brutally. Blood spatter covered every surface. Police could only assume whoever committed this act wasn't just killing for sport. Rather, they reveled in seeing so much gore. As police conducted their search of the home, they discovered more body parts dispersed throughout it, some in plastic bags, adding further evidence to this bizarre crime spree, which seemed to take hours of deliberation to carry out. What could have caused such an unspeakable crime? Police soon had the answer when they realized Taylor Schabusiness, Shad's girlfriend on that fateful evening, had vanished without a trace. Taylor Schabusiness was a 25-year-old woman living a difficult life. Born and raised in Green Bay, Taylor experienced chaos and instability from an early age due to the death of her mother in childhood and subsequent neglectful care from her father. Rather than providing protection, he instead mistreated his daughter instead of providing safety. This childhood trauma manifested into adulthood with unpredictable behavior, substance abuse issues, and an intense need for control that left Taylor disappointed and desperate. Taylor had been married to Warren Schabusiness, though their union was far from ideal. Warren was in and out of jail frequently, leading them both into infidelity, drug use, and constant instability in their relationship. They had 1 child together, but due to Warren's unpredictable lifestyle, it had been placed with one of his grandparents for care. Taylor had begun an affair with Shad, which would soon deteriorate into one of Green Bay's bloodiest acts of violence on February 23rd. Taylor had become addicted to methamphetamine. Her life would soon become consumed by addiction as meth became part of her daily routine and could only lead to devastating results on that fateful night. Taylor was down at her home. She was covered in blood, but appeared calm despite this fact. When asked why there was blood everywhere, she simply responded, "Because of my warrant." As the interrogation continued, however, her casual confession sent shockwaves through even experienced officers. Taylor reported that she, Shad, and another friend spent the afternoon taking drugs together, initially marijuana, but as the night progressed, they progressed to methamphetamine use. Once Taylor left, Shad and Taylor returned to Shad's bedroom, where things took an unnerving turn. According to Taylor, they engaged in consensual sex and then dangerous games, such as using chains around each other to choke each other during intimate moments. On that night, Taylor didn't stop. She tightened the chain around Shad's neck until he began coughing blood and confessed she wanted to see what would happen by continuing. For several minutes after holding tight onto his chain, she watched as Shad struggled for air before finally succumbing to his injuries. Horror was only just beginning, however. Taylor seemed unperturbed by what she had done, spending hours dismembering Shad's body using knives from the kitchen and taking her time cutting him apart piecemeal. When asked why she left his head in a bucket, she replied indignantly, "I got lazy." At one point during her confession, Taylor made a shocking statement. "Have you ever loved something so deeply you wanted to kill it?"
You also said that you enjoyed it, right? I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. You don't really
something so much that they kill it. Like, it happens to me. That's the feeling that I have. I love something so much that I kill it. Like, I love it so much, and then I kill it. That's what happens to me.
It was evident that Taylor's mind had become warped by drugs, trauma, and an obsessive interest in death. Taylor Schabusiness admitted after Shad's death to sexually abusing his lifeless body and violating him in every grotesque manner, even after death had come and went, treating his body like an object for her perverse desires before dismembering it in a chilling and deliberate act of brutality. As police delved further into Taylor's background, they discovered something even more unnerving. Taylor had developed an unhealthy fascination for Jeffrey Dahmer, one of America's most notorious serial killers, who hailed from Wisconsin himself and killed and dismembered 17 men, often keeping their body parts as mementos. Taylor had spent hours watching documentaries about Dahmer and his crimes, even keeping pictures of him around her home. It became evident that Taylor was trying to emulate Dahmer. His actions had such an influence over her that it became impossible not to compare their actions. Both killers had an obsessive obsession with controlling and dismembering victims into mere objects to be toyed with. After her arrest, Taylor displayed unpredictable behavior that continued in courtroom proceedings during her plea hearing. To everyone's shock and surprise, she attacked Quinn Jolly without warning, using her elbow to strike him in the face, leaving several officers to physically restrain her and bring order back into the proceeding. Following the attack, Jolly requested his withdrawal from Taylor's case, leaving her without representation. Her violent outburst only added to suspicions of mental instability. Her defense team would later demand she undergo psychological testing as evidence against her standing trial. Shad's family was disturbed. After Taylor was arrested, Shad's family was left reeling with grief over the unexpected and brutal loss of their son. Not only was his death tragic, it was incomprehensible. A young man with so much ahead of them was brutally murdered by someone they trusted. After Taylor was charged, his statement expressed their devastation and heartbreak as they described Shad as an honest individual who didn't deserve what happened to him. Shad Thirion's murder at the hands of Taylor Schabusiness is an alarming example of how darkness can often lurk behind seemingly familiar faces. A young life, full of promise and hope, was cut short prematurely by someone they trusted. For Shad's family and community members alike, the pain will never fully subside. But hopefully, justice will ensure Taylor spends her remaining years behind bars, far away from their community, where she terrorized Shad. If this story touched you, be sure to like and comment. Discussing these tragedies is key to learning from them, so please subscribe for more content and remain safe.